Wow, I am so tired, but I feel like I need to make this video making the distinction between flux cord wire. If you're being a nice person, this video isn't for you. This video is for the people who insist on trying to correct me when I say that there is a gas-shielded flux core wire, or the ones who insist on using the term dual shield. Good for you. You can use that. That's kind of a colloquialism. That's what's it called? Like a genericism? If I send you to the grocery store for Clorox for the whites and you bring back generic bleach, I don't care. Bleach and Clorox are the same thing. Some people care very much about Clorox. And I'm being pedantic for two reasons. One, because I talk like an instructor on this app when I'm trying to explain something, and you never use the term dual shield when you're teaching. Dual shield is a trademark of FCAW. People often use it synonymously to mean a flux cord arc welding wire that needs an additional shielding gas, but that's not right. Just because it has become common practice doesn't mean it's something that you'll find in a textbook. If you want to use it, that's fine. Don't come at me for not using it because it's not right. It's not proper. Dual shield is not a process, nor is it a type of welding wire. There are two kinds of flux core wire. There is self-shielded and there is gas-shielded. Self-shielded flux core wire contains all of the agents within the flux to do a good cleaning action, get decent penetration, and of course burn off to protect the molten weld pool from atmospheric contaminants like usual. But gas-shielded flux core electrodes also exist, and it's definitely used in like structural and bridge building, in electrodes that are in a 16th inch diameter or larger. And it's used on plate that's like 3/8 of an inch or larger. Because you get better penetration because you've got flux in the wire and you've got a shielding gas over top of the wire, you've also got a slag being made so that you can weld out of position better. So flux core wire, which can be run in a MIG machine, is a spool-fed process, and it has all different kinds of trade names. Self-shielded flux core wire and gas-shielded flux core wire. And within the self-shielded flux core wire realm, FCAW has core shield, Lincoln has inner shield, and Hobart has fab shield. And then within the realm of gas-shielded flux cord wire, FCAW makes dual shield, Lincoln makes outer shield, Hobart makes FabCo, and then there's a fourth one, Verticore, because it's for out-of-position welding. Vertical up. It's really tomato. There's so many people getting heated about this dual core term that I don't use. Because if I just want a gas-shielded flux core wire and I bring you FCAW or Hobart, it really shouldn't matter. If you send me for dual shield wire, I'm going to come back with FCAW brand gas-shielded flux core wire. Maybe it's a throwback to trauma of years of being yelled at by people who need to have Coke instead of the generic brand. Dual shield is a thing. Dual shield is a flux core wire that you need an additional shielding gas with. It is not the only flux cord welding wire that requires an additional shielding gas. There are plenty other brands. If you're going to insist on calling all gas-shielded flux cord welding wires dual shield, then I am going to tell you that you need to insist on calling all self-shielded flux core welding wires core shield, because that's what FCAW uses. If you're going to use a standard, use a standard. Once again, if this is all stuff that you're learning and you're like, oh, cool, I didn't know about that, this video isn't for you. You're one of the ones that's just being cool in the comments and you're like, oh, cool, I never even knew there was a gas-shielded flux core wire. This video isn't for you. You're being cool. People who are arguing me down and down, but like we're not even arguing. We're saying the same thing. You're just insisting that I call something something else. Or there was one person telling me that flux core welding and MIG welding are completely opposite, separate processes because one has got the flux core and runs on another polarity. That's another thing. If you want to do flux core on your MIG welder, swap your polarities. I forgot to say that in the last video and I regret it. Seriously, there are all these people bickering at me and there's no difference in what we're saying. They're correcting me saying the thing that I said in the video. I just don't use the term dual shield because it's not the right term. Again, casually it can be. Within the shop it can be. And I'll let casual terms slip occasionally when I'm talking on here because it helps to know what other people are talking about if they don't know the proper term. So in that vein, yeah, dual shield is when you need two separate shielding on your wire and you've got your flux and your gas, if that helps you. Fuck's sake. I will stand corrected if I need to be corrected, but the amount of people that are explaining things to me that are just wrong, sorry, but you're wrong, and then start filling it in with completely inaccurate information. Crazy. It's weird. It's weird. You're being weird. Thank you to all the cool new people following along, and if you've got experience in this field, please do drop that in the comments. I am but one person, and all of our experience can add to the conversation.